specifically kind of talking about some things about Messianic Judaism, and kind of, people hear that word, they might not totally understand what that means. Just can you kind of define what Jews that believe in Jesus as the Messiah, Messianic Jews, what they are and what they believe?
Yeah, absolutely. So Messianic Judaism or Messianic Jews, it's kind of like an umbrella term to refer to Jewish people who believe in Jesus and want to practice their faith in Jesus in a Jewish cultural way. So, it's an umbrella term, maybe like evangelicals or
Mhm,
something.
mhm,
There's a lot of different subgroups within that, right? So, Jews for Jesus, we are one organization within that larger body of Messianic Jews. And there's Messianic Jewish congregations and ministries and different groups around the
yeah,
world. And there's just like, within evangelicals, right? There's a bit of diversity
right.
of how people express that Jewish culture with faith in Jesus, but we have a lot in common as well.
Yeah, so, and basically, I guess some of the questions some people might have is do y'all, in terms of the Old Testament observance of, the law, and do y'all still follow certain things within the law that maybe us evangelicals might not?
Yeah, it's a very good question. So that connects with what I said about diversity.
Right.
Within Messianic Judaism, you're going to find some people that really follow many of the commands of the law of Moses and many even rabbinic customs and traditions quite closely,
Mm,
and are very dedicated to that. And then you're going to find some who maybe live what we might just consider a more uh, you know, um, mainstream Christian lifestyle, but maybe have a little bit of connection. They would celebrate some Jewish holidays from time to time because that's an important part of their culture. So you really see the diversity. Um, and as Jews for Jesus, we're very, we're careful not to speak for all Messianic Jews, right? We're
right.
just one group. And we really emphasize the gospel's our main thing.
Mm,
And so that's really our focus more than anything. My personal thinking around it is, that in the Bible we see, that God had this special calling on the Jewish people to be a light to the
mm,
nations. And so as Jewish believers in Jesus, we do have an obligation to take that calling seriously. And I think people have to sort of wrestle through for themselves what would enable me, to be able to have a witness and a testimony as a Jewish person. And I mean, I think that there's so much that we encourage the greater body when we have that identity as Jews, right?
yeah.
Because it shows, oh, God keeps his promises to his people. I think people have to wrestle with, what level of, embracing my Jewish culture has God called me to in order to live that testimony out. And I think,
Mhm,
God leads people in different ways.
right. But and you would say it's more of a cultural thing that they follow, that people would do. Messianic Jews, certain Messianic Jews would do law observance as a cultural thing. They not necessarily are basing their salvation on that.
No, by and large, across Messianic Judaism, there would be an agreement that, our salvation is through Messiah, through his sacrifice. But I think that you would find some people who would feel that, God really has called us to
Mhm,
remain true to, the law of Moses, and some of these things as a way of maintaining that identity and that call to be a light to the nations, and others who might feel differently. It might feel like, no, it's been fulfilled,
mm,
and I'm able to express that testimony in other ways. So I think you'd see like a spectrum of people's convictions on that.
right, for sure. So when y'all work with Jewish people, and in terms of what they believe, let's just say I go up to a Jewish person today and I say, "Hey, Jesus is the Messiah," and they say, "I don't believe that." Why would they disagree with me? Why would do Jews not? Why do Jews reject Jesus as the Messiah?
Well, I'm always very quick to say not all Jewish people
Right.
reject Jesus as Messiah.
Sorry.
And that, no, 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 that's exactly why Jews for Jesus exists, right?
Mhm.
Because so many people think that all Jews have rejected Jesus, and it's really not true. Obviously, in the scriptures, we read about many, many, many Jewish people, all the writers of the New Testament, with maybe one exception who were passionate followers of Jesus as Jews, including even Paul and others. And, throughout history, there always has been, at times a very small, but a remnant of Jewish people who
Right.
did profess faith in Jesus as Messiah. And now it's quite large. There's communities all around the world in many, many countries, large, thriving communities of Jewish people who are followers of Jesus. Um, the mainstream Jewish community would view, uh, not accepting Jesus, as part of
Right.
mainstream Judaism, right? And a lot of that has to do with what happened after the time of Jesus, when the temple was destroyed, and a lot of modern day Judaism was created actually after Jesus. So a lot of
Okay.
it was sort of built around to strengthen this idea of rejecting Jesus as Messiah. And so that's a lot of what Jewish people today have been exposed to. Many, many Jewish people aren't actually very familiar with the Hebrew scriptures themselves. Some are, but I would say your average Jewish person really has not read the Hebrew scriptures for themselves. And what they might know about the Jewish religion is really more like teachings and traditions of the rabbis. So they've maybe been taught Jews don't accept Jesus, but they might not know the reasons why. And that's why we always really challenge Jewish people. Hey, just read the Bible for yourself. Read the Hebrew scriptures for yourself. Read the New Testament. It was written by Jews. It's like the most
Right.
famous Jewish book ever. So I think that's really, really one of the keys is that a lot of Jewish people they might not even know why.